I'm Jamie, and I'm here to help you realize your potential and what you could achieve if you decided to put your mind to it. Today's video is on why training will impact every other area of your life. So let's jump straight in. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. It's something I talk about all the time on Instagram, on my emails, on all that. That training will impact every other area, and it will have a positive impact on every other area. So, what are the principles around training that are so important, specifically the gym, martial arts, running? You need to be disciplined, you need to have delayed gratification, and you have to work hard. Those three things are important to me. Okay, there's probably others, but those are the three things to me. And you have to be disciplined to it. You have to stick it out. You have to keep going, and you have to go when you don't want to go. Simple, right? Like fundamental still for life, but especially for this. Delayed gratification. At the start of the gym, at the start of running, martial arts, you're probably not going to be great. You're probably not going to see the results you want. You're probably not going to, you're going to have to go through that stage where it's not getting you where you want to be. It is going and going and going, but you know down the line what you want is at the end of it. And you have to stay on that path. Hard work. You have to work hard at it over and over, and even when you're not seeing the results, and even when you don't want to go, you have to be disciplined, and you still have to work hard. So those are the three principles to me that really stand out. Now, if we look at that so let's paint an avatar here, right? This wasn't even in my plan for this, but let's paint an avatar. Let's paint somebody who maybe they've not been at the gym, maybe they've been to the gym a bit, on and off. They've been for a few months, been off for a few months, that sort of style, okay? And if that is you, right, and you're in a place where you know you want to make improvements in your professional life, right? You want to make improvements and see more from this. You want to further up the career ladder. You want to earn more money. Fantastic, right? You want to probably improve. You might want to improve the relationships around you. Cool. You also want to improve your health, your fitness, and your physique. Fantastic. So, where do you start? If you want to do those three things, where would you start? In my opinion, the absolute easiest one to start with would be yourself, and that would be your own health, fitness, and training. Yeah, because if you were to try and like instantly make your career like more advanced, right, and earn more and all that sort of stuff, that's going to require discipline, delayed gratification, and hard work. And if you don't have those principles locked down, you're not going to stick to it, especially with something as difficult as that. But in terms of your own training, like that is, and your own health, you're going to see far better results far quicker if you were to focus on them. So it is the low hanging fruit is probably the best way to put it. You know what I mean? It will impact every other area. So if you can learn the discipline, delayed gratification, and the hard work from your training, it will make every other area better. It will make it easy to progress in your professional life, right? It will make you a better person to be around inside your relationships. It's now starting to have a massive impact on other people. So this was me. I was in a position, right, where I was at this crossroads, and I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to leave school, right? Am I going to leave school? Am I going to leave university? And am I going to go down the self-employed business route? And previously, I would say I had a shit work ethic. I would say I worked in Sainsbury's at the time, and I didn't want to be there, obviously, right? I hated it, and I just wanted out of it. And my work ethic while I was there was shite, right? I will say that it was pretty shite. And as a result of that, right, I was training at the time, and then I went self-employed, and I took to it so quickly, and I started working really, really hard at it. And I then had to apply these principles that I learned from training of discipline, delayed gratification, and hard work. And I applied it into my business life. And if I hadn't been training, I would not have been able to apply those, because I wouldn't have had that grit and determination built up to start smashing those three things. And I previously, depressed is not the right word for it, right? But I was just not happy with where I was. I just knew I had more. I knew that I wanted more from whatever what I was doing at the time, and I just wasn't happy. And for me going to the gym, for me going self-employed, for me doing all these things, it's made me a better person. It's made me a far happier person. As a result, relationships around me are far better. So the gym's had a massive, in training, not just the gym, like just a massive impact in every area for me. And if you are somebody who has big aspirations for your career, for your business, like that is going to take severe dedication to get there. And if you're not training and looking after yourself through that time to uphold those minimum standards, that it's going to be hard to progress in those other areas. And there's going to be times, yes, where you have to think about one more than the other, right? Obviously. But you need those three parameters in place. And I guarantee you the training will affect every other area of your life in an extremely positive way. Now, this is a really interesting one, right? And it won't. So right now, the way I've spoke about it is I've said the gym will affect you in every other way in terms of like your career, in terms of your relationship, and like bigger terms, right? I'm going to put it in context for you. So I remember, right, I used to get spoken to and treated like shit by managers and work, right? You know, like people that just talk down to you, people that are just like, because they're the manager, they'll speak to you however they want to speak to you. And it was infuriating, right? Because you're like, I'm just trying to do my job and you're speaking to me like shit. So for me, like when I got in shape and gained physical presence, that all stopped. So another area of my life was affected on a social basis, I suppose. That like they wouldn't speak to me like shit because there was a physical presence and that came from training. And getting in shape came from hard work, discipline, and delayed gratification. So again, those three parameters really, really coming up. And as a result, like the social aspect, people stopped treating me like shit. People stopped speaking to me in a certain tone and in a certain way because they wouldn't and they couldn't because I would say something. And not that I would do anything, but like there's a physical element to it because you can now look after yourself and handle yourself. So yeah, it's such an interesting point that as soon as you get yourself in shape, everyone's view of you, everyone's shape of you completely changes. And internally, you change, your priorities change, your values change. That you now value hard work, you value the process and the delayed gratification, and you value what discipline gives you. It's unbelievably important. And a good way I've described it, right, for the guys inside my program, Transforminator. If you didn't know, I'm an online coach. And that I've always described it as setting the standard. And setting the standard for the guys in the program, setting a standard for myself, and setting a standard of people around me, right? Setting the standard to push and setting the standard for this is what you should be aiming for, whether that be, and not that they need to aim for 6 sessions a week because maybe they're on 4 and that's where they are, but like this is the standards that we uphold. And yes, it's relative to everyone, but like we have high standards and we're going to keep pushing this way. And for me to have any ounce of credibility as a coach, I have to have high standards and I have to be pushing myself in that direction and have these standards, you know what I mean? And again, and that's had impact on every other area of my business, whether that be like my client fulfillment side of it, and knowing that if I put in loads of effort into a client when they first start, that the delayed gratification of that is that that client will have an amazing experience inside Transforminator. That client will have an amazing result by in their time inside Transforminator, and as a result, create an incredible transformation for the business, right? And that can be used to promote and market with, and that is incredible, and maybe generate referrals from that, and that is absolutely incredible. That I know that again, those three principles affect every area: discipline, hard work, delayed gratification, and it just affects everything, and you can apply it to every single context. Yeah, and I'm not going to speak any more on that. I feel I've said enough. That training will impact every other area of your life. It is something to really take into account. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.